And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Bumu 2, which is a game about collecting animals, going into the jungle, and I don't actually know what the theme is. It doesn't matter. You're just collecting animal tiles, and different animals are going to be worth a certain amount of points, but the animals also help you move. It's essentially an abstract strategy game, but it has some cool artwork and a cool looking theme, and that box is a box that if I was walking by in a game store and saw this on the shelf, I would stop and look at it. But let's see if the game is good. There are 10 different animals in the game, and at the beginning you're going to pick 8 of them randomly. So sorry, chimpanzee and black mamba, you're not in this game. You'll take the 8 tiles for each one of the animals you're playing, you'll shuffle them up, and you're going to randomly put them on the board. Players are going to start with their figure on an outside piece. Each player is going to also have a very big shield that they can hide their pieces that they collect behind. And the tiles for the animals are placed over here. Now, the point of this game is to collect animal tiles, and you're going to get points based at the end of the game on how many you have of each tile. So for example, you see crocodiles are worth 2 points each. Elephants are worth 1 point each. Whoever has the most flamingos gets 7 points, 3 for second place. Rhinoceroses most gets 2 points, 1 for second place. You can see definitely crocodiles are more than the rhinos. So on your turn, if you have any bananas, you are allowed to spend 1 banana, as many bananas as one banana for a movement. It can be diagonally or horizontally or what have you to move to where you want to go. That's a free movement. You can do it. You just got to pay a bunch of bananas to do so. You then can move 1 space in any direction and end your turn. You'll very rarely want to do that. That's something you do only when you have no other options. Instead, what you'll probably want to do is use the special ability of the animal that you're on and move that way. So the giraffe, for example, lets you move 1, 2, or 3 spaces. So I might move 3 spaces like this. 1, 2, 3. Now I'll go 1, 2, 3 here. And then you collect the animal that you were on. Now collecting animals, of course, I'm doing it for points. Giraffe's not very good, but you'll notice I landed on top of a crocodile, so next turn I'll be able to move and get more points that way. Also, when I collect any animal that shows a banana on it, then I get to keep the banana of that type. And so then next turn, for example, the crocodile movement here, I can move 1 or 2 spaces. If I land on an opponent, I can move them 1 space in any direction. So if I was here, I might go 1, 2 and push them off, collecting the crocodile here. Now what is that symbol on the crocodile that's collected? Well, at the end of the game, whoever has the most of those symbols, the yawas or yawas, gets 6 points, and third I get 3 points if I have the second most of these symbols. The other symbol you can see on here, these little masks here, the number of those you collect determines how many points you get. If you collect all 8, you get 20 points. If you collect just 1, it's 1 point. And then finally, if you collect an animal that has a brown background like this, then over here you can switch to adjacent animals. So I might not want the crocodiles to be top dog. I might want flamingos to do it. I might want to move rhinoceroses slowly as time goes by to make them worth more points. These brown tiles, the advancement tiles, also signal the end of the game. When all 16 of them are off the board, that's the final part of the round. You'll score points for the different symbols that you have collected, and then whoever has the most points after scoring for the animals is the winner of the game. These are great, these tiles. They feel good. You know, they click when you move them around the board, and I really like the artwork on them too. The symbols are very easy. The brown background means you're going to switch 2 things over there. The only complaint I might have about the colors is that there's a few colors I feel like are the same. The crocodile, the zebra, and the black mamba are all like shades of green here, but even still, they look really different. So that's very minor. The banana tokens might be the weakest part. They're okay, but the shields are great. One of my biggest problems with shields are they don't hide things very well and they fall over easily. This doesn't, and it also clearly tells you how each animal moves. Some of the animals are more aggressive. like the lion, you can move somebody. The crocodile, the rhinoceros can push people around. But for the most part, they're not that mean. And the game is going to, as the game goes by, you're going to end up landing, because of the way you move, onto empty spots, which is not good. You have to spend bananas to get on top of one of these so you can collect it, or spend your whole turn just moving one space in any direction. But otherwise, I think the components for this game, which fit in this nice little insert here, are fantastic. Now, I gotta say these days that WizKids is not always my #1 go-to when it comes to production quality of a game. But Bumu definitely has that. It's really nice. It looks great, it plays great, the pieces are good. I was very impressed with that. And I even liked very much I might have picked this for the cover of the game actually, the front of the rule book. That just looks really well done. I like it a lot. This is a very solid abstract game, and I do think that it scales 2 to 5. I would be hard-pressed to want to play it with 5. If you play with 5, you're playing a very chaotic game. It's going to scale better, fewer players. With 2, it's going to be very strategic. With 3, okay. 4, more random. 5, even more random. And because there's more stuff moving around as you go, and the animals are going to be moving up and down. I do find it humorous in the rule book that they're like, pick 8 of the 10 animals and separate them out and put them in, and it just seems easier to me to say, pick 2 animals you're not going to play with and take them out. It's the same thing, it just sounded easier, I suppose. But that is some differences. Every game's going to feel different. You have 8 out of 10 animals for one, and if you don't like the slightly more aggressive, and I have to be really honest, it's really not that aggressive. You move someone off a tile and they're like, oh, I was going to collect that tile. But if they have a banana, they can move right back on it. But anyway, you can take whatever 8 animals you want, but the way they're spread out on the board and the order, flamingos might be amazing in one game and not very good in the next game. And it doesn't matter how many of those you take, I've yet to see an animal go all the way up from the bottom to the top, mostly because someone else is going to probably move it down. And then what do? You collect the symbols, you collect the animals, you're trying to focus on what you're going to collect, you focus on how the animals move. The animals will move in various ways. One lets you move diagonally as far as you can. One is horizontal, one just might move a few pieces. The flamingos, you can jump to another flamingo. I like the different animals and how they move, and it plays very quickly. You take your turn, collect your piece, and then you sit there and think about what you're going to do on your next turn. And I guess this game could tie up an analysis paralysis, but I don't think it's that heavy. This fits in that abstract category where there's strategy and fun and some randomness too, but it's not overly complex, but it doesn't also feel overly ridiculously light either. It's a nice middleweight thing. And even though the theme is barely there in a sense, bears, there's no bears in the game, but I do like the animal theme. I think it's colorful, it's fun, and it's the kind of game that you could get people to play very easily. Overall, I'm very impressed with this one. Like I said, I think it's best with 2, but certainly one that folks should check out, Bumu, I think. Dice Tower Judgment approved.